I had just finished a long, exhausting day at work and stopped at a restaurant hoping for nothing more than a quiet meal before heading home. I sat down, opened the menu, and raised my hand to ask for a glass of water. But the second the waitress walked toward my table, I stopped breathing. My entire body went cold. Standing right in front of me was my daughter-in-law, Emily. The same Emily my son had told the entire family disappeared months ago. But what terrified me even more was the fact that she was 8 months pregnant. Her hands were trembling. Tears rolled down her face. She leaned toward me and whispered words I never expected to hear. "Please don't tell your son I'm alive." Then she revealed a horrifying secret about my own son. And in that moment, I realized I never truly knew the man I had raised. New to Family Drama Box? Please subscribe to our channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Your one subscription means a lot to us. Let's complete 1,000 together. Thank you. My name is Richard and I'm 62 years old. For most of my life, I believed family was everything. I spent decades working overtime shifts, sacrificing vacations, skipping luxuries, also my wife and son could have a better life than I ever had. My son Daniel was my greatest pride. He was intelligent, ambitious, and from the outside looked like the perfect son. I trusted him completely. Never once did I imagine he could become someone I wouldn't recognize. 3 years ago, Daniel married Emily. Emily was wonderful. She was polite, hardworking, kind-hearted, the kind of person who brought warmth into every room she entered. My wife absolutely adored her, and I was relieved knowing my son had chosen someone with good values. For a while, everything seemed perfect, or at least that's what I thought. Then 6 months ago, Daniel showed up at my house looking devastated. I had never seen him like that before. His eyes were red, his voice shaky. He sat down at the kitchen table and said words that changed everything. "Dad, Emily left me." I remember staring at him in confusion. He explained that Emily had packed some clothes, disappeared overnight, and left no explanation. He claimed she had abandoned the marriage and wanted nothing to do with him anymore. I asked if they had fought. He said no. I asked where she went. He said he didn't know. Something about the story felt strange. But he looked genuinely heartbroken. So I believed him. Weeks passed. I tried contacting Emily several times, but her phone number had been disconnected. Her social media accounts disappeared completely. It was like she had vanished from the earth. Daniel insisted she simply wanted a new life somewhere else. Eventually, I stopped asking questions. Life moved on, or so I thought. One evening after leaving work late, I decided to stop at a restaurant about 20 minutes from my office. It was a small place I'd never visited before. Nothing special, just somewhere quiet to eat before driving home. I walked inside, sat near the corner, and began looking over the menu. A few moments later, I heard footsteps approaching. I looked up casually, and everything inside me froze. It was Emily. I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing, but it was definitely her. Except she looked completely different than I remembered. Her face looked pale and exhausted. Dark circles sat beneath her eyes. Her expression wasn't normal. It looked terrified. Then I noticed her stomach. She was heavily pregnant, at least 8 months along. My chair nearly fell backward as I stood up. "Emily," I said loudly. The tray in her hand slipped instantly. Glasses shattered across the floor. The entire restaurant turned silent. She stared at me with pure panic in her eyes. Before I could say another word, she rushed toward me, grabbed my arm tightly and pulled me toward a small hallway beside the kitchen. Her breathing was frantic. Her entire body shook like she was about to collapse. Then she said something that made my heart stop. "Please, don't tell Daniel you saw me." I stared at her in disbelief. "What are you talking about? Daniel said you disappeared months ago." She immediately started crying. Real tears, deep, uncontrollable sobbing. And then, the truth finally came out. She told me everything had started nearly a year earlier. Daniel had secretly developed a gambling addiction. At first, she didn't know. He hid it well, but slowly his behavior changed. He became aggressive, paranoid, angry all the time. Money started disappearing from their accounts. Bills stopped being paid. Then one day, Emily discovered Daniel had borrowed tens of thousands of dollars from dangerous people connected to organized crime. When she confronted him, Daniel exploded with rage. Things only got worse when Emily found out she was pregnant. She thought the baby would make him happy. Instead, he became furious. He told her having a child would destroy his plans. That was when she realized something was terribly wrong. One night, she overheard Daniel talking on the phone in the garage, and what she heard terrified her. Daniel wasn't planning to repay his debt. He was planning something far darker. He had secretly taken out life insurance policies connected to Emily. His plan was to make her disappear permanently, collect the money, pay off his debts, then vanish overseas. I felt physically sick hearing those words. Emily said when she confronted him the next morning. He lost control completely. He shoved her violently against the wall and threatened to kill her if she told anyone. That night, while he slept, she escaped through the back door carrying only a few clothes and whatever cash she could find. A close friend helped hide her. Since then, she had been moving constantly. Terrified Daniel would track her down. The restaurant owner had given her a job under a fake name so she could survive until the baby arrived. I leaned against the wall, trying to process what I had just heard. My own son, the boy I raised, the child I taught right from wrong, had become a man capable of murdering his own wife, an unborn child, for money. But then Emily grabbed my hand again, and what she said next frightened me even more. "He's watching you too." I looked at her in confusion. She wiped her tears and whispered, "I overheard him talking about your savings account. He knows you have retirement money. I think after he gets rid of me, you're next." My blood ran cold. I left the restaurant that night feeling like I had entered another reality. The entire drive home, one question kept repeating in my head. How long had Daniel been lying to me? The second I entered my house, I started checking my paperwork. Bank documents, property files, retirement savings, insurance records. At first, everything seemed normal. Then I found it, a transfer authorization form hidden inside my filing cabinet. My signature had been forged. Daniel had already begun transferring ownership rights connected to my property. This wasn't random. He had planned everything carefully. And suddenly I realized Emily had probably saved my life. The next morning, I went directly to the police station. I told them everything. Emily agreed to testify privately. Investigators immediately began tracing Daniel's financial records. Within hours, they discovered illegal transactions, gambling debt records, forged signatures, and evidence connecting him to fraud schemes. 3 days later, police arrested Daniel. He was caught meeting several men connected to the criminal debt network. Fraud charges, identity theft, forgery, insurance conspiracy, attempted murder investigation. His entire world collapsed overnight. Months passed. Eventually, I visited Emily at a small apartment the authorities helped arrange for her safety. She had given birth safely. A beautiful baby boy, my grandson. As I held him in my arms, I kept thinking about one painful truth. I spent decades believing blood guaranteed loyalty. But blood means nothing when greed destroys a person's soul. That night changed me forever. I walked into a restaurant expecting dinner. Instead, I discovered my own son had become the greatest danger my family had ever faced. Sometimes we spend our whole lives trusting the people closest to us, never realizing they're hiding the darkest secrets. I lost my son that day, not because he went to prison, but because I finally saw who he truly was. And I learned one lesson I'll never forget. The deepest betrayal never comes from strangers. It comes from the people you trust without question. New to Family Drama Box? Please subscribe to our channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Your one subscription means a lot to us. Let's complete 1,000 together. Thank you.